Here are 2 signs that may go unnoticed of someone who has experienced sexual assault or sexual abuse. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I've interviewed a lot of sexual abuse and sexual assault victims over the years, including for investigative interviews. And one of the things that I've noticed a lot, I'll speak about both. One of the things that may go unnoticed is someone who has excessive amount of weight gain over the years, and the weight serves as almost like a protective barrier. And a lot of times victims think that, hey, if I have this weight, I become unattractive and less likely to be attacked again, or less likely to be victimized again. So my weight will deter my abuser or my aggressor against me. And that can't be farther from the truth, but they look at the weight as more of like a protective barrier in a lot of cases. It could also be indicative of self-esteem and things like that, but that self-esteem and confidence issues, and maybe even mental health issues that occur after the sexual assault. But for many people that are still around their perpetrator, they look at it as like a protective barrier. And in some cases, even if they're not, they just look at weight as like, this is like my defense mechanism. The second characteristic may be someone who is malodorous, isn't keeping up with their hygiene. And again, they look at, the inability to keep up with hygiene, or the lack of good hygiene, rather, I should say, as a deterrent. And I noticed this a lot, especially in prison systems or jail systems, where people may be around their aggressor. And again, they look at it as like, if I'm not keeping up with myself, if I don't smell good, if I don't look good, if I, that's going to deter someone from being aggressive towards me. And again, that's another, that's another thought that isn't necessarily true and doesn't necessarily stop someone from aggressing against you, unfortunately. One of the things that I will say is, with the weight gain that serves as a shield, the morbid obesity, my experience is I've been more likely to see that more in women, so much so that you can almost like, again, I've done enough of these interviews where you can almost see someone who's been sexually assaulted. Like, you can almost like look at that person and tell. And then with the malodorousness or the poor hygiene, I tend to see that more in men who have been sexually assaulted or victimized. And sometimes people can have both, but for the most part, I see the weight, the excessive weight issues, and the poor hygiene issues in men. And again, for all things being equal, meaning that this person doesn't necessarily have substance abuse or other sort of severe mental health symptoms, but even in those cases, most of the time, there is some underlying issues around, having a history of being victimized, and hope that helps.